you have to understand how your potential customer wants to buy it, and you have to understand how people are going to make money off of it.
Okay.
So for us, we look at, okay, so why would a consumer buy this? So when I was doing the colors for the cans, we can predict as a company when we launch a new retailer which can is going to sell better based on the color of the can. So a health food store will sell more of the blue. Italian or a upscale store will sell more purple. It's associated with velvet.
Yeah.
And grocery stores sell more red.
Why?
Retail red.
Really? Okay.
So we can predict which one is going to sell better based on the color, which is crazy, right? Because we only get 2, maybe 3 seconds with the consumer to make their decision, right?
Yep.
So our labels, we wanted to be like, what is, I can see, yeah. We wanted the product to be up front and center. So when you walk past that fridge, it's like, oh, I could go for a cold brew, and you know exactly what it is immediately, right? So that's why the cold brew is right there, front and center. So I'd say you have to think about what would the consumer buy, but then also, if you want to slot yourself into the market, how do you make money for other people?
Right.
So when you think about the grocery store, and this is how they'll do it. So I can geek out on the grocery industry, but essentially there's the American model and the Canadian model, and they're inverted. So in the American model, there are 4 or 5 mega distributors that dominate the industry. But you can have a grocery chain bigger than Sobeys and Safeway that's in 5 states, right? In Canada, it's inverted. We have 4 or 5 major grocers and conglomerates that dominate the grocery industry, and lots of distribution companies.
Okay.
And so depending on who dominates the industry is who's going to make the most money, right? So Sobeys, Safeway, they have a certain percentage, and they have a category percentage margin they're going to want on every single thing. So when you're slotting yourself in the market, okay, why would a consumer buy this? Are they going to like it? Is it good? But then also, how do you make sure that your partners are all going to make money off you? And so we have to go and look and say, okay, we know that Sobeys is going to want X percentage on our product. Can we fit that into our 2 guiding principles? Can we still make money and do that?
Yeah.
But then also like playing on that, because they're the biggest barrier to our success, right? So I would say, figure out how you're going to get into the market, and then how do you, all of your partners along the way, how do you make them money? And yours will follow.
Do you sit at a boardroom and just like pitch these guys? Like, what does it look like?
Depends. Like Sobeys Safeway has been phenomenal, and same with Co-op. I should say Co-op more. Co-op's been fantastic at supporting local, and so is Sobeys Safeway. We're just about to launch Save On Foods. We have a couple other big retailers in the works right now. We're launching about 45 grocery stores in BC right away. It's my belief has been for Sheepdog that we are a marketing company first and foremost, because then the sales are easier. So when I went in and pitched Save On Foods, I get there and there's this panel of these 3 guys wearing their golf shirts, and they look very serious. And I sat down, and we had just run a commercial on Sportsnet for the Jets playoffs, right?
Shut up.
So what's that?
Shut up, Prolix.
Yeah. So yeah, we worked with Prolix locally. Yeah. So we did this super fun commercial with the Jet, like with a fighter jet theme to play on like Winnipeg and the Winnipeg Jets and win the playoffs. So we done this thing. So I sit down at this table, and they've got their clipboards, and I think they give you 12 minutes, which is such a weird number. It was 16 minutes or something to make your pitch.
Yeah. Okay.
So I sat down. I was like, "Have you guys heard of us before?" And the one guy's like, "Yeah, we started a commercial on Sportsnet." And it was like easy after that, right? So it was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Have you tried it?" You know, and then we were just pals, right?
That's sick.
So for me, I always think like, for the retailers, there is the standard way in the front door, but Charlie Chaplin always said there's a back door to every stage. And I always think that's the door you should take. So find a way to like get to know someone, go do some networking, do some great marketing. Like I see this too, like we'll go to these trade shows and your whole algorithm changes to all of the companies that are at the trade show, or all doing like hyper ads to pump it out to anyone at a trade show, right? So, you know, you throw those money into some digital ads, you find your own way. But at the end of the day, none of it matters unless the consumer buys it. So the retailers are going to do whatever. So for us, our goal, when we've got into the store, is they have different metrics for different sections. So for us, or I'll use a random example. Say you sell canned soup, and they have a brand of canned soup, and they say, okay, in this category, and the store managers or the program directors will usually tell you this. They'll be like, in this category, what we would like to see is, let's say, 10 units a week. So what we do with our stores is just say, okay, if our expected turn rate is X, that would mean that the category you have to stay on shelf, you need to turn X. So per store, right? So our goal is we keep metrics on all of our stores. We know the store expects us to do, I know the number I'm going to say it, but let's say for 10 for simplicity, to to maintain a place in the category, we have to do X because we're studying how is our retailer going to make, how do our partners make money off of us, right? So we go, okay, if they need 10 to keep us on shelf, let's double it. Let's be the category leader. So then we're going out, my team's out doing demos at the stores. We're like doing everything we can to drive consumers into that store to be like, hey, this store only sold 4. We're not a category leader. We need to get that store up. So let's go set up a table there on a weekend and we need to be category leader, right? Because we want to save that shelf space. We want to whatever. And so the hard part for us as a local supplier in the grocery industry is, a lot of people don't know this, but all of the shelves are delegated spots by corporate. So they would call that the planogram. And so if you are the C-suite level of Walmart or Costco or whatever, you're gonna have your planogram where everything's gonna go. And an average Sobeys Safeway has 30,000 products in the store, and almost all of them about 25,000 of them are gonna be planogrammed on the shelf. So one of the huge barriers that we're trying to overcome right now is because we're a small vendor, we're not planogrammed. It means we don't have a spot for us
on the shelf. Yeah.
So for we sell a bottled concentrate cold brew, which I don't think we put out here, but we have it in the Toronto Maple Leafs arena. We just got into Canada Life Center. We have it in Calgary Stampede's using it in their venues. Like, makes phenomenal cocktails. Almost every cocktail bar in the city is using it to make espresso martinis and shafts. But when you go to the grocery store, there's the planogram jugs of cold brew from Starbucks and the big guys. We can't be in that fridge because the whole thing is paid for by Pepsi and Starbucks and all these big brands. So we have to put that product in the, out of the 25,000 products that are planogrammed, there's 5,000 products the manager gets to pick where they are. So we have to find a shelf space somewhere. So one of the challenges we run into is like, okay, a consumer would buy this, the consumer would like this, but when they go, it's like if you're going, you're like, okay, I need pickles. You go to the pickle, you look at the thing, pickles are in this aisle, you go there, you assume these are the pickles available to me as the customer, but then you forget that the really good ones are in the fridge over there, right? The kosher, awesome, like super dilly garlic ones are over there, but they're not in the planogram because they're like maybe a local product. Elman's pickles, I eat a fuckload of Elman's pickles, and I know that they're not in the planogram spot. I have to go to the fridge to go get them. So that's one barrier we're going through right now as a company, is how do we get people to put us on the grocery list, so we're on the list, and then realize that when they get to the store, it's not that we're not in the store, it's just that we are not in the planogrammed fridge. So we got to find a way to get you to see us somewhere else.
Hard.
So that's a battle for us right now that we're trying to overcome.
How do you change consumer behavior?
Well, there's the old adage that a person has to see your brand or your product or your name 7 times. I would argue it's probably higher nowadays, because even 2-3 years ago, like when you scrolled on social media, between stories, there might be one ad. Now I think it's every 3rd story is an ad set, and it's 4 to 5 different companies in that ad set.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right? So your tolerance for advertisement has, nobody wants to be sold to, right? So everyone's tolerance for that is really low. I would argue that if it used to be 7 or 9, I bet you it's over 20 now. Touch points you need to have. So you have to fight really hard to get those touch points. I don't know if I've totally figured it out. For us, I think we're changing coffee. We are making it better. If I was to really zoom out, there's 3 parts of coffee that you can screw up. So for whiskey, wine, for wine, they pick the grapes and they ferment them, they put them in the bottle. It's kind of 1 step, right? Or 2, I guess you could grow them and then you got to bottle it, right? But with coffee, there's 3. And the challenging part with coffee is that the 3rd most important step is left to the hands of the consumer. So how you grow the coffee, where it comes from, what plant, that's the first major step.
Right.
And then the second major step is the roasting. So how are we roasting? How are we applying heat to this green coffee bean to change its flavor? But then if I sell you the coffee bean, and I think this story is so funny. We were set up at a charity event that we sponsored, and we were selling cold brew, and we had given the charity organizers, we were out, it's a veteran horse camp for veterans of PTSD, and we were out at their ranch. It's like 3 hours north of Winnipeg, and they had this big open house for a bunch of Army vets, and we had given them the coffee beans, and it was the same beans that we used to make our cold brew, and they made it really bad. So people were coming over, they're like, oh, the hot coffee here sucks. And I didn't want to be like, well, it's also our coffee, right? And then they try to be like, oh, this is so much better, thank God you're here. And I'd be like, well, that was also us, but they made it so bad. So the 3rd step with coffee is how it's made is such a big step. So we've removed that. We've said, hey, now you're going to get cafe quality, phenomenal coffee on the go all the time. So we're changing how people drink coffee.
Yeah. And then I guess once they're hooked, they're hooked.
Yeah.
Like
we're,
if the product's good. If the
Exactly,
product's
right?
good.
So I think, so if we can get that touch point, we can get them to try it, and then they understand that like, I'm getting more energy than a Red Bull. Like literally like triple a Red Bull in a light roast can. And then there's no additives, there's no sugar, there's no dairy, there's no gluten, there's no anything, right? It's all pure, like truly naturally occurring. Like you can buy a caffeine added soda water or something they add caffeine to, but I'm like, that still had to be like processed and derived and pulled out and then added and then blended and then stabilized. Whereas we have two ingredients. We have water and coffee, but we make it in a way that it's our custom brewing facility that makes the product great.
Yeah, I just think about the way that I consume products, and when I go to a grocery store, I'm getting the same stuff every time.
Totally. Like, and Instacart's awful, right? Because like people are like, oh yeah, get the essentials and get out. They're not getting those impulse items, right?
Yeah.
So then do you have to go out of that traditional way to set yourself apart to get that repeated buyers?
I wish I had it figured out already, but I don't know if I do.
Right.
Yes, the answer is yes, you do. And what was the quote we talked about earlier? Safe companies die quietly, right? Like, so we have to be a little out there, tons of pop-ups, tons of like consumer engagement stuff. But the like people don't understand marketing, right? Like marketing is not a fancy logo. Marketing is not nice colors. Marketing is what people remember and what people say about you when you're not there, right? So the only form of marketing that is foolproof and perfect is customer referrals, right? So like, if someone's like, my basement flat, I need a plumber. If your friend's like, this guy's great, he's super trustworthy and very reasonable, you're like, I'm not even looking for another plumber.
Yeah.
Right? So customer referrals is everything. And that's why we're so rooted in community. We talk about a lot with my staff, how we're a third sale company. Like, we just want you to try it. We'll give it to you for free. We want you to come back a second time. But like, we want relationships with our customers because we want you to think that this is something I now need in my life. Like, so, like we talk a lot with my team of like, don't worry about selling it first, just build relationships and like, let's get people into our ecosystem. We're fun. Like even our social media strategy, like we barely ever sell anything on social media, almost to a fault. And our whole, like we have, I think we have probably one of the best social medias in Winnipeg. And our goal is just to entertain.
Yeah.
We're just there to be fun.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you get into our ecosystem, you're like, oh, I love what Sheepdog does. And that's by design because it's the same thing. Same thing as dating. We're just there to like be fun and something you want to be around, right? Like we're not there to sell to you all the time. We very rarely ask for a sale.
Because I think people will naturally take that step if they connect with you.
Yeah. If they think the product fits their lifestyle and the community built around it is important. And people are hurting for community right now. Like that's hurting.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think we're building that here. Like when we had like the Moto Social here, and I think we've been voted their favorite venue. So every month, the Moto Social is this group of motorcycle enthusiasts who meet up and just chat motorcycles, right? And so we go above and beyond for them. So we bring in a DJ, we hook up a barbecue up front, we're barbecuing food for everybody. We had like 1,000 motorcycles parked in front of our store one night,